Hello and welcome to another video about Cardano. In this update video, I want to take a look at this indicator here, which is quite interesting and could predict new all-time highs. I also want to talk about the Cardano chart. We're doing a technical analysis, and also we take a look at one major macro indicator, which could predict massive new all-time highs that are coming for Cardano. We're also taking a quick look at Bitcoin before that, because Bitcoin price is doing what it should be doing. What we predicted, and then we're having a look at Cardano, and hopefully that video will be very useful to you, as the other ones have been as well, as far as I can see in the comments. What I want to show you here is the indicator that talks about or that informs us about the volatility of the Cardano price, or the ADA price. So the blue one here, the blue chart pattern here, is the ADA volatility. So that is the annualized standard deviation of daily returns over a window of time. All right, what is that? If you have no idea, I didn't have a clue in the beginning, but it basically means it's the daily change in price. So the daily returns of the ADA price of ADA is the daily change in price. Yeah, so it's the annualized standard deviation of the daily change in price over a window of time. Now, if it's still confusing, don't worry. It doesn't matter. What you need to know, or what you need to see here, is that I just want to talk about the history potentially repeating itself. So what we can see, that we had a low here of the volatility in April 21. You know what happened after that, isn't it? Because the gray line is the price. So whenever we had a low after that, even here, after a low, we normally saw a spike in price, right? So you had the low here, and after that we saw the price going high. Sometimes it's more or less, but this one is pretty significant, this drop before the all-time high of 246. And you know what? A week ago we had the same one, or a couple of weeks ago. Now we are here where we were in the beginning of May. And you know what happened after that? Look at the price. Yeah, so we peaked just after that, just a week after that. So from where we are now on the same level here, pretty much at a volatility of 1, we were there already in the beginning of May. And then assuming that, just a week later, we had the all-time high. Now, obviously, we've now made a new all-time high, but that means we have, in terms of volatility, maybe in a couple of weeks' time, before the mainnet rollout, will be up here. So in terms of volatility. So what you might want to understand is that if history repeats itself, I don't say it will, but it might. Looking at the chart here, it means that the price here will just go to the moon out of my laptop screen here, if that repeats itself. So what we can see, this indicator, that it's basically repeating itself, isn't it? So we are here on this level, so there is a scope of volatility, maybe going 3x from here, and the price did basically the same. So just wanted to show you that there is potential, if we say that these charts are repeating themselves, and this indicator, if there is a low, is indicating that there could be an all-time high coming, such a significant swing low of this indicator here, then we will have the best still to come. Over time, I always have a look at these different indicators, not just the charts, but things like that here, that are different indicators that you would normally find on other YouTube channels, and they sometimes can tell us things that many people don't look at, and that is very interesting. And can't wait for Cardano to 2x again in the next week or so, or next couple of weeks. What else do I want to show you? Right, let's have a look at CoinMarketCap. Everything looking good at the moment and healthy. Especially Cardano doing what it should be doing, because that is what we said this morning in the video, that it would be within this range between 246 and 250 for a while now, at least for half a day or so. That's what we said this morning, and it's doing that, and I will show you why. Let's have a quick look at Bitcoin, because the Bitcoin price will determine as well what Cardano is doing. And again, this morning, I think, when did I did the video? This morning was somewhere here. Yeah, so what I said back then, no, 5 o'clock or something it was. So this is the 1 hour chart. So we were here, and I said this morning that we might you know, now that we're back into this orange ascending wedge, which again, I can't repeat it often enough, it's a bearish pattern. So at some point we might have a bearish move happening. But at the moment, because the 20-day moving average is supporting the price, we are trailing along this 20-day moving average. And I said that at some point today, if that is going to continue, we will see the 50,000 this evening potentially, if that carries on like that. Because what we have is, if this 20-day moving average, as it did since a couple of days ago, in that uptrend here, is continuing to provide support, it will provide support and take us to the 50K, which makes sense because we are in this ascending wedge. And if we are continuing to be in this ascending wedge, then we will touch the top and then probably go down to this side again. And it might be a bumpy ride to the upside, but eventually there might be a breakout to the lower end. But anyway, at the moment it seems like we're going to the 50K, and we also, the good sign is that we have the 50-day moving average now coming as well. And what do we see here on the chart? Well, we just can't really make out a pattern here, but what we can see is that the 20-day moving average is supporting. So that's just what I wanted to show you. Really interesting. What we actually can see is probably something like a channel forming, which is again trend continuation, possibly. So you see we have the green candle here now, 49,000. It's doing what it should be doing. So expect the 50,000 today. Unless we break below the 20-day moving average, which I can't predict really, then we won't see that. But at the moment, I am full of hope that we will see the 50K, which could take Cardano higher. And again, Cardano is doing what it should be doing. This morning, we've made out this triangle, this symmetric triangle. Is this a need to worry? No, the triangle is a trend continuation pattern, and I believe we are in an uptrend. So we should see a breakout soon. We are going to probably maybe even until tomorrow, we might stay in this triangle. This doesn't mean that we couldn't break out earlier, but for this, volume needs to be there. And considering that on the weekend volume is a little bit lower, we might continue to be in this triangle actually until, some point tomorrow, because then we have to break out. Something needs to happen when we hit the apex here. So anyway, we are going to be in this area. That's my prediction until we break out, hopefully to the upside, because it is a bullish pattern. We are in a bullish range. For me, I'd rather be in that area here for, as long as we can, because the longer we are, the closer the 20-day moving average is coming. So even if we then break to the downside, at least the 20-day moving average will provide support. So if we just assume it will go up like that, at some point tomorrow, it will probably be in that, well, let's have a look. So if we say tomorrow at some point we will be here, tomorrow it will probably be, exactly here. And that might be when we break out, guys. So if you just think that this price is looking for a reason to break out, and this 20-day moving average, if we just trail it along, at some point you can see the time down there. At some point, maybe tomorrow morning or between tomorrow morning and lunchtime, it might hit that price and help it to break out. That's what I think. Looking good in terms of that, and looking good as well from a Bitcoin point of view, because the other reason for it to break out could be when Bitcoin is actually going to the 50K level. So good news from that point of view, which again doesn't mean that it cannot also break out to the downside, but it's more likely to go up. And if we talk about possibilities for trading here, I would want to wait until we break out to the top, maybe retest it and then go up. So that would be a good short-term trade, but I don't want to make any recommendations here. Anyway, this is not a channel where I give indicators. I just want to prepare you for what's coming. A lot of you guys are interested in understanding technical patterns, chart patterns, want to know more about the Cardano price, why it's doing what it's doing. And so that's why what this channel is about. Maybe at some point in the future, I will provide that as well. But again, I'm not sure yet, and I don't want to have the pressure actually. So this is purely for fun. And if it's not fun anymore, I'm not doing it anymore. So this is looking really good. I love it. On the 1 hour chart, we can see that even clearer. On the 1 hour chart, another reason to break out, maybe in the short term, would be this 20-day moving average coming, the 50-day moving average on the daily, which is different from the 4 hour chart. Oh, sorry, on the 50-day moving average here on the hourly chart coming up. and possibly at some point later this afternoon might help it to break out late this afternoon, right? That's one scenario for me, but there are good support levels here, guys, really good support levels, and looking good from my point of view. What I want to show you actually is something interesting I saw today, never before. I saw that today. So let me just go back to the daily chart. Something that looks really bullish for me on the Cardano chart. And I need to have a look at not the Coinbase one. I want to have a look at the Binance one. And that's what I'm talking about. This is the all-time chart for Cardano, right? So that's the all-time chart. One thing, two things I want to show you. One thing is a channel that's forming here. And that explains why the current level is such an important or such a major resistance level. Because normally what I would have expected is after an all-time high that we see, you know, with certain volume, that we see a massive move to the upside. That's what normally happens when we break an all-time high. But the reason, my guess, you know, you're never 100% sure, but my guess why we don't see that is because we have a channel forming. So if I just take a parallel line, you can see all these lows down here. We touch this here once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. So it's a major support level. This channel. And if we take the same line, don't change the angle or anything, and add it to the recent or to the previous all-time high, you can see that. That is why we have this resistance level here, because we want, or a channel is forming. Is that good? Yes, from a macro point of view, it is good, because a channel is a trend continuation pattern, and we know that we are in an uptrend, so we can clearly see the trend channel is going up as well. It's not an ascending wedge or anything where we would have ours leading to an apex. That wouldn't be great, but we seem to have a channel forming. But that, on the other hand, is not great as well, on the other hand, because it provides some serious resistance here, and it might mean on a longer term that we might actually go down again, down to 130, possibly, you know, depending on when that is going to happen. The good thing is this, because this is an ascending channel, this is actually helping us to move up the average price. But that from this point of view, and you can clearly see that it's not impossible that we not at some point drop to 125 again, because bear in mind we only were there a month ago, right? So just want to say that possible scenario is that we go break that channel to the upside and then go back in after the mainnet rollout Alonso. Just a possible scenario. I don't believe it, but it's just what I can see. So just wanted to show you that. And something else I wanted to show you is the possibility of having that whole structure here, the whole chart, being a cup and handle. What's a cup and handle? That cup, a cup, a round structure, which is never perfect really in daily trading, and a handle forming where it's going down slightly, and then that handle playing out and it moving up. And you normally have that from down here to the start of the handle. You take that length, and when it's breaking out, you can add it, and that will be your price target. Now, I don't really know if that is a cup and handle, because what we had is obviously that previous all-time high already. But if that hadn't been there, it really looks like a cup and handle, and possibly we can even might not want to look at that and think that away. What you then have is really something like a round structure. You know, honestly, it's not really round, because in crypto we have this bear market for a long period. But if that was a cup and handle, and possibly it is, because you can see the round edges, and what kind of cup and handle essentially means, you always need to understand why these patterns take place. So a cup and handle is you have an all-time high, a lot of weak hands in the market. These are shaken out over time. You have a longer period of losing interest and people not really going in. At some point then, when enough weak hands are shaken out, you have institutional investors coming in, private investors coming in, and that's when all this structure is going up again. Now what that could be is then here, this could have been the beginning of the forming of the handle. All of that main thing, that whole thing here, which took place from May to July. And then guys, what we are having now is actually that crucial moment where we see that breakout. When that point here, and that's the crucial point, when this point where we are now is broken, honestly, this is significant, because if this is breaking, this will shoot up to the moon, because you can see this is currently the ascending, this is an ascending channel. So it provides a major resistance line on the macro level. Honestly, if we can break that, this will be what we're looking for, and which is currently at, let me just do that. Yeah, this is currently sitting at, if we go a bit closer, because I really want to have it touching. Yeah, it's pretty much at this level here, which is 267. Guys, if we manage to get above 267, this is, I believe, what could us take us through to $3, $4, $5 in very rapid movement. Yeah, that is what I'm looking for. And let me know what you think about it. I think that's pretty plausible. I think that makes total sense from a TA point of view. And even if you are not familiar with TA, if that explanation convinced you, let me know in the comments. Hope you liked that video. We are looking for something like a breakout between later today and at some point tomorrow afternoon, at least on the micro point of view. Here, breakout out of this triangle I showed you, and then at any time really when we get up to 267, we're looking for a breakout of this channel that I just showed you, which is this one. And if that takes place, guys, look for that. For me, if I wanted to speculate and really look for some short-term gains, it would even be interesting to start a speculative position here when as soon as we've tested maybe that level again, and then we can see some green candles and it's going up, and then selling somewhere here. But I won't recommend that, honestly. I won't recommend it. This is high risk, because in these areas it's very hard to speculate, you know, and it's high risk. It's high risk, you know, because we don't know what's happening. There's no support, no resistance lines up here. But I found this structure highly interesting, and let's see if that works out. And we are going to track that going forward. I haven't seen anyone else talking about this on YouTube yet, and I have a look at some channels what they are doing, but nobody's talked about that. I haven't found any articles. I believe that is something that makes sense. Right. I hope you liked it. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye.